Guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steve Kerr channel. Steph Curry at DNC tell Donald Trump night. Head coach Steve Kerr spoke at the opening night of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Illinois, in the same venue where he won 3 NBA titles, which the Chicago Bulls, fresh from an excursion to Paris where he coached the U.S. men's basketball team to their 17th Olympic gold medal. Kerr told the audience gathered in support of Vice President Kamala Harris that he could think of no better metaphor for what this country is all about than their Olympic triumph. Think about what our team achieved with 12 Americans in Paris, putting aside rivalries to represent our country, Kerr said. Now imagine what we could do with all 330 million of us playing on the same team, not as Democrats, not as Republicans, not as libertarians, but as Americans who know the greatness of this nation doesn't come from any one of us but from each of us doing our part to build a more perfect union. In a fast forward to his helps for election night, Kerr joked that in the words of star Warriors point guard and Team USA hero Steph Curry, after the results are tallied we can tell Donald Trump night, a reference to one of Curry's signature celebrations. The Warriors coach also took light-hearted jab at Tim Walz's record as a high school football coach. By the way, coach to coach, that guy's awesome, although I have to say Coach Walz way too much reliance on the blitz in '99 against Man East. You had a strong defensive line who holds a combined 9 championships as a player and coach. Endorsed President Joe Biden during his 20 run for the presidency and has been a sharp critic of former President Donald Trump. Earlier this month, Kerr told reporters that Harris is a great candidate and I will support her. Kerr lauded Harris and Walz, her running mate, in his address to the convention. Leaders must display dignity. I believe that leaders must tell the truth. I believe that leaders should be able to laugh at themselves. I believe leaders must care for and love the people they are leading. I believe leaders must possess know and expertise, but with the full awareness that none of us has all the answers, and in fact some of the best answers often come from members of the team, Kerr said. With Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, I see all those qualities, Kerr added. Steve Kerr references Steph Curry in DNC speech endorsing BP Kamala Harris. Warriors head coach Steve Kerr endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate Governor Tim Walz in a speech at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago on Monday. I know very well that speaking out about politics these days comes with risk, Kerr said. I can see the shut up and whistle tweets being fired out as we speak, but I also knew as soon as I was asked that it was too important as an American citizen not to speak up in an election of this magnitude. Kerr has been a vocal activist for gun safety legislation and other social issues and causes. He has been publicly critical of former President Donald Trump and endorsed President Joe Biden in the 2020 general election. Although addressing a stadium of politicos is new territory for the head coach, the United Center was a familiar setting as Kerr took the podium. Highlights of his game-winning shot in the same arena from Game 6 of the 1997 NBA Final showed on big screens. It's so fun to be back here at the United Center, Kerr began. As you all know, a lot of good stuff has happened in this building, especially in the 90s. You young people Google Michael Jordan and you can read all about it. A few days after the Olympics, Kay said he got invited to speak at the DNC. He explained that as a husband, son, father and American citizen, he couldn't decline the opportunity to make his voice heard, although there has and always will be backlash when sports figures speak about politics. As Kerr alluded to, sports and politics are constantly intertwined. At the Republican National Convention earlier this summer, former wrestler Hulk Hogan and UFC CEO Dana White. Each spoke. Former Heisman Trophy winner Herschel Walker lost his Senate race in 2022, and former Dodger Steve Garvey is running for a Senate seat in California currently. He took the podium less than 10 minutes after Harris made initial remarks. The Oakland native is scheduled to give a full speech Thursday night. Harris, the Democratic nominee, is the former San Francisco District Attorney, California Attorney General and United States Senator. Her DNC speech mainly focused on uniting themes based on his experience coaching Team USA to the gold medal at the Paris Olympics earlier this month. He spoke about coming together to form a more perfect union, not divided by party line but as teammates. He did so while making himself very clear about which candidate in the 2024 presidential election represents that value. I believe leaders must display dignity. Kay said, I believe leaders should tell the truth. I believe leaders must care for and love for the people they're leading. I believe leaders must possess knowledge and expertise, but with full awareness that none of us has all the answers. And if you look for those qualities in your friends or your boss or an employee or your child's teacher or your mayor, shouldn't you want those same qualities in your president? And when you think about it that way, this is no contest. The NBA doesn't hold games on Election Day, which falls this year on November 5th. Until then, Kirk committed to help people get out to vote for Harris and Walz, and after the results are tallied that night, we can tell Donald Trump, in the words of the great Steph Curry, night night. NBA Warriors should trade 4 players for Zach LaVine. With the Olympics over, we return to the normal Warriors off-season schedule. So far the board has not moved to improve its squad, and the team lacks players for specific positions. One of the players that was mentioned a lot in relation to the Warriors was Bulls point guard Zach LaVine. Although everything is very calm for now, the board could still try a move to strengthen its squad. Bars on this. The website Bleacher Report made a very crazy suggestion on how the Warriors could negotiate with the Bulls for BR. The Warriors could bring Zach LaVine in a trade involving 4 players. The Warriors know they can't start the 2024-25 season without making a bold move to secure more talent around them, but this is too bold a move to be worth it. LaVine played just 25 games last year because of surgery on his right foot, and there are still 3 years and $138 million left on his contract, which is no small feat. The Bulls, who are in a rebuilding process, may want to move on from LaVine. There are even those who say that the Bulls would need to include draft picks to convince someone to take LaVine, so this trade, with Reeves being the main name of the Warriors and without any draft pick involved, would be a big deal for the Chicago team. And you fan, what do you think of the situation of Zach LaVine? Leave your opinion in the comments.